The lesson outcome for this video is, I can calculate exponential decay. Let's remember that the exponential decay model is the same model that we use for exponential growth. We just have to remember that our rate is going to be negative because whatever it is that we're working with is decreasing. Okay, so very similar work that we've done in previous lessons with exponential growth. Our first example is, you purchase an iPad for $499. The value of the iPad decreased by 9% annually. Find the value of the iPad after 3 years. Okay, so we have our key information that you can kind of see here. We have $499 that the iPad was originally worth. Remember that original amounts are going to go in for A. We also have a rate. We have 9% annually. Now annually, just to remind you, means every year. Now 9%, we have to keep in mind our percent is going to be converted to a decimal. We're going to move the decimal 2 places to the left, and we're going to get 0.09 for the rate that we're going to use. Now the key information here, though, that you have to remember, this is important, is that it says it's decreasing in value. So decreasing in value means that it's actually negative 9%, which is then negative 0.09. That value is going to go in for R. Then we also have one last piece of information, and that is it says find the value of the iPad after 3 years. So here's our last key piece of information that tells us how much time has passed, which will go in for T. So now with all those arrows showing us where the information goes, let's go ahead and write our equation. So we have y equals, our A value is $499, our original amount that the iPad was worth, times 1 plus the rate. Now the rate we talked about up here is negative 0.09. So negative 0.09. And then it's raised to the t, and the t is our time, which is 3 years. Now again, we're just going to calculate this. We can use our calculators, and so grab that and compute our new worth of our iPad. Okay, so you'll see I just included a little screenshot here of my calculator. If you look at this first computation at the top, it says $499, just like our original amount here. Our parentheses, 1 plus negative 0.09, all raised to the third power. So our answer, when we compute this, is 376, and since this is money, I'll go 2 decimal places, so 0.03. Okay, so the value of the iPad after 3 years, it has declined because the value decreases, it's not worth as much anymore, is $376.03. I just want to remind you that if you're ever looking at your work and you get to a final answer, you should ask yourself if that answer makes logical sense. Because had you forgotten that this needs to be negative because the value is decreasing, you would have forgot this negative sign and put in a positive 0.09 right here. If you had put a positive 0.09 in like this right here, you would get $646.22. Now if you think about this for a minute, that answer doesn't make sense. So to put that answer on your paper and circle it or whatever, it doesn't make sense because it tells you that the iPad's value is decreasing. If it started out worth $499, it should not now be worth $646. That's an important part of math, is checking the reasonableness of an answer. So always think about that when you're doing these decay problems. All right, let's try this next example. In 2006, Ali invested $2,000 in a certain stock. The stock has gone down at a rate of 7% annually. Find out how much money Ali has in 2016. All right, so y equals A times 1 plus R to the t power. All right, so let's go ahead and put our original amount in for A. This is the original amount of money that he put in. We'll go ahead and put our rate in, which is, remember, gone down at a rate of 7%. So we're going to write 7%, negative 7% right here, which is negative 0.07 is what R is. All right. And then how long did he invest this money? Well, he invested this money for, let's figure this out, from 2006 to 2016 is 10 years, right? And that'll go in for t. So we'll go ahead and write our equation with our values in. Y equals $2,000 times 1 plus the rate, which is negative 0.07, all raised to the 10th. All right, we'll go ahead and compute this, again being careful for all symbols and parentheses, etc. All right, when we compute this, we get y equals 967.964, so 96. So his money is now worth a lot less. Obviously, the market has been declining for this stock. So he has just under $1,000 left of that $2,000. So hopefully the rates will go up a lot in the next 10 years and he'll make more money on that. And for this last example, please pause the video, try it out on your own, and then check back to see how you did. Okay, so take a look. It had said that the membership at a club was declining at a rate of 5%. Notice that I took that over here and said negative 5%, so negative 0.05, excuse me. For the period from 2001 to 2006, be careful, that's not 6 years, but that is 5 years. So in 2001, there were 54 members. That is our original amount. I put that in here. About how many members are there in 2006? So when you compute this, you should arrive at 41.784, for example. All right, now obviously there can't be 41.784 members, but this is an approximation. So we'd say probably about 42 members were remaining in 2006. How'd you do?